I've just spent the last 22 days in isolation in my room at Cambridge. In this video, I'll go over why that happened, my COVID symptoms, and then a few questions that people ask me on Instagram. If you're new to my channel, hello, my name is Ilya. I'm a third year undergraduate studying natural sciences at Jesus College, Cambridge. This all started on the 28th of October when my housemate tested positive for coronavirus. Because he tested positive, the whole house went into self-isolation for 2 weeks. Except for the guy who tested positive, he just had to stay for 10 days. So for 2 weeks, I was stuck at home with my house, which was not too bad because at least I could hang out with my friends in my house. The person who had coronavirus was in their room pretty much the whole time, so there wasn't much of a chance of me catching it. Unfortunately, on day 12 of self-isolation, 2 days before I was due to come out, I started developing COVID symptoms. This was Monday last week, and I started with a slight cough. Other than a cough, I was completely fine. I felt fine. I just coughed like a few times a day. It was a dry cough though, and my housemate did have corona, so just in case, I booked a test for the next day. The next day I took the test, which was actually the first time I'd left my house for 13 days, and it was actually quite nice to leave the house even if it was just to go to a test centre. So this was Tuesday and my cough was a bit less, so I was barely coughing at all, but I was starting to have a fever, headache, a sore throat, so I really was ill with something, but whether it was corona I didn't know at the time. And then comes Wednesday morning, I check my phone and I see I've got an email saying I have coronavirus. Honestly, I wasn't surprised because I felt pretty shit at that point. My fever was quite bad and I probably got it off my housemate. So yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday I had a fever. It was quite a bad fever. I felt hot and cold at the same time sometimes, which was really confusing. I had a headache. I didn't really cough much though. My eyes hurt a bit. It kind of hurt just to look at a screen all the time as well. On Wednesday I didn't do any work. I just Netflixed the whole day. The Queen's Gambit was quite fun to watch. That's also the same day I did an interview with Astrid, so you might have noticed I looked a bit ill. What I also found a bit strange is that my mind and my body felt a bit out of sync. This is something I realised when I went to type something on my computer and my mind was blown away by how fast my fingers were typing. That's when I went onto 10fastfingers.com and just tried to see how fast I could type, and I was really shocked that I could type 96 words per minute, which is pretty much my max, and I had coronavirus at the time, so it's just a bit weird how I was still functional yet I felt so shit. On both Tuesday and Wednesday I couldn't fall asleep very well because of fevers, so I took some paracetamol, but other than that I didn't really take any kind of drugs or anything like that. Then on Thursday I found that my fever was gone, so I literally had a fever only for 2 days. I did have a sore throat though, and my voice sounded a lot deeper than normal. If you've seen the video with the Cambridge admissions tutor, I shot it that day, and you might have noticed my voice sounded a lot deeper than normal. Until Thursday I was able to smell and taste fine, but Thursday came and suddenly I couldn't smell, and now a whole week later I still can't smell. I mean, I think I can smell maybe 5% of what I could normally smell. This means that when it comes to food or shower gel or soap, I really can't smell it. If there's perfume or deodorant, like a lot of it, or a scented candle, I can smell that a bit, but other than that, I really can't smell. In terms of taste, I can still taste stuff, but a lot of things taste less strong and some things taste different. I remember I had fish and chips and the fish tasted really bad and it just tasted completely different. Anyway, so my voice was weird for a day and then the next day it was fine. And then since Friday I haven't really had any COVID symptoms except for a loss of smell and taste. But I did have symptoms for a cold, which was really weird. So I had a runny nose and sneezing, and I think what happened is those weren't COVID symptoms, but I got a cold around the same time I got COVID, so I guess I was quite unlucky. Anyway, it's now Wednesday, the 18th of November. I have left the house twice since the 28th of October, and that's to get tested for COVID and for a fire alarm at 2 a.m. because someone in my house set it off by accident. So I'm really looking forward to coming out tomorrow, and I feel pretty much fine except my eyes just hurt from looking at the screen all day and I can't smell. Also, there's a bit of drama in my house. My household was in isolation for 2 weeks, and when I got coronavirus, it was within that isolation period, which meant that the rest of the house did not have to self-isolate. So it was only me in self-isolation for these 22 days. Everyone else came out when they were meant to come out. But today, someone in my house has tested positive for coronavirus. This is part of Cambridge University's asymptomatic testing program. It's where they randomly select students to get tested for coronavirus in case they're asymptomatic. And someone in our house, it's not clear who it is yet, they did a pooled sample. Someone in our house has tested positive, so they're going to test everyone again. And if they find that someone has coronavirus, everyone in the house is going into self-isolation for another 2 weeks, except for me, because I'm still in self-isolation until tomorrow. And because they discovered a positive test during my self-isolation, I won't have to self-isolate. If I did, that would be 36, 34 consecutive days of isolation, which would not be fun. If it turns out that someone in my house does have coronavirus, I will be moved to another room in college for the next 2 weeks. On my Instagram story, I ask people for any questions they might have, so I'll just go through those now. Are you going to cook your own food? For food, what I did is I ordered food from college and they just dropped it off in front of your door. That's what I did for lunch and dinner. At the start of self-isolation, I did do a big online shop, so I was sorted for the rest of isolation. And college has these self-isolation supporters, which are just these students who are not on self-isolation who get paid a bit of money to do shopping for us and collect our mail. I've just mostly asked them to collect my mail every few days. Have you named anything Wilson yet? I've got no idea what this person is asking. The next thing is one of my friends sending a snake emoji, followed by my friend saying, "Why are you a snake?" followed by, "Why are you not dead yet?" Thank you, Bentley, for that question. Bentley is going to be interviewed very soon, so look forward for that. Someone said, "Why are you so gay, bro?" I don't know who this person is, but I will say that I'm not gay. I have a girlfriend, but even if I was gay, that shouldn't matter. Does your entire household have to self-isolate too? So when I tested positive, the household was already in isolation, so they just came out when they were meant to come out and it wasn't extended. But if I tested positive after the isolation period, the clock kind of resets, so they would have had to self-isolate, but that's not what happened. Are you going crazy yet? Good luck with it. Tips for living in isolation. I did go crazy, yes. Tips, if you can, go into the garden and try to do exercise indoors. Were you pressured by anyone to exit quarantine while you were sick? I wouldn't say that I was, no. I mean, I'm not gonna spread corona. Okay, thanks for watching. If you have any specific questions about Cambridge studying, whatever, just pop in the comments and I'll get back to you soon. If you have any video suggestions or ideas, let me know. Bye.